What's going on, YouTube? It's Big Brother 749 come back at you with another video. Well, of course, you all know what happened this weekend. The former president, Donald Trump, was shot in a assassination attempt at an election rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday, July 13th. It was all over the news. It was all over social media. And I know people are going to compare this to Reagan and Kennedy, like one of those historical moments and events that you experienced live, like 9/11, Reagan getting shot, Kennedy getting shot. You remember where you were when it happened. But Trump was speaking at his rally, and suddenly shots were fired, and he ducks as well as the rest of the crowd that were behind him. Folks were screaming, and it's gotten to where Secret Service agents had to jump on stage and surround Trump as they all ducked behind the podium. And the bullet had hit his right ear, and he was bleeding. And there was blood on his right ear running through the side of his face as the Secret Service agents were surrounding him, grabbing him, taking him off the stage to a nearby vehicle that was waiting to take him away. And it's been stated that Trump was fine, but there were two people at the rally who were critically injured. And there was a guy there who was a former firefighter who was killed after diving down in front of his family, protected them from the gunfire, and that the shooter, who was unidentified at the time, was eventually killed. But after receiving further information about the shooter just a day after the shooting incident, the FBI identified him as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, who was a registered Republican. And they say that a motive for the shooting was not clear, but knowing Donald Trump's history, I think the majority of us probably could figure out what the motive was, but he wasn't doing anything at the election rally that justified that shooting. But it's been said that Mr. Crooks used an semi-automatic rifle based on what was found in the scene, which I believe they said was his dad's gun. And right now the Secret Service is investigating, figuring out how he was able to get close enough to shoot Donald Trump. It's been said that he fired multiple shots at the stage from what they say in elevated position outside of the rally venue. And when this whole news of this incident went viral, it's gotten to where President Joe Biden, said in a statement that he was grateful to hear that Trump was safe and was doing well. He would pray for him and his family and all those who was at the rally and all that. And that him and his wife, Jill Biden, was grateful that Secret Service was able to get him to safety and that there was no place for this kind of violence in America and whatnot. And all the Democratic politicians, like the former House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, the Vice President Kamala Harris, are condemning it. The Muslim Congresswoman Ilhan Omar from Minnesota is condemning it. And even Democratic politicians here in Kentucky are condemning it, tweeting statements such as the Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, the Attorney General Russell Coleman, who I think is a Republican. But him and the mayor, Craig Greensburg, who also experienced the same thing of getting shot just a couple of years ago, or shot at. But I just want to give my take on this whole situation. Now, I don't condone what happened to Donald Trump. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't wish it, but I do understand it because we all know that Donald Trump's not a good man. But yet at the same time, I do believe that whatever corruption Trump has done, we should let the Most High take care of it, because Trump will leave the world whenever God wants him to leave the world, not when we want him to leave the world. And though Trump is still here with us, I still feel that this assassination attempt could be a wake-up call. I mean, it's good that it wasn't severe to where he was like on the ground covered with blood, but it still sends a message that somebody wants him dead. And when it gets to that point, you got to stop and think about what you're doing to people, because you can't be out there running your mouth, talking all that shit, spewing all kinds of racism and hate and doing shit and screwing people over and don't think nothing bad is going to happen to you, because that's how you create enemies. And Trump has a lot of enemies. He caused so much destruction to where there's a lot of folks who don't feel any compassion for him at all. Not even the picture could make them feel sorry for him. And I seen the picture. It was pretty graphic. His ear was all bloody and wounded. It was ugly. He had blood running down on the side of his face. And they're talking about Trump like, F him, he needed that. Since we all know that Trump tried to overturn the government, he got people killed. He got these hate-mongering rallies. He caused that shit. And nobody's trying to blame him for anything. And he's not in court for the deaths that he didn't cause. And they try to blame that black CIA agent that shot that girl to climb up the window. But Trump's not blaming himself for inciting her to come to the freaking insurrection to do that shit. She want to kick down all the doors and come through after they then told her she couldn't come through, but she's still going to come anyway. And they shot her and she fell back. And not to mention all these mass shootings, which Trump's not personally responsible for it, but he's helping to create an environment that says, hey, it's okay to do that. It's okay to whip out your gun and start shooting innocent people whenever you feel like it, such as schools you got kicked out of or jobs you got fired from. But despite all that, I may disagree with Trump's policies, but I don't agree with what happened. I don't want to see him hurt or dead. I just want to see him in jail or in prison. Because, I know he's bigoted, I know he's racist, and I know he's bad. And I know there's a lot of people out there who want Trump dead, but only God can make that decision. But knowing Trump, I don't think he's going to learn from this, because Trump is still going to be Trump. Trump's going to brag and pull another 50 Cent bragging that he got shot, where he's going to try to use that to get more votes, and that's going to show how bad his mind is. He's going to infuriate and fire up his fan base. I know he wanted to blame the Democrats when he first got shot. Like, go blame the Democrats, when he didn't even know who did the shit. Because as soon as that happened, I just knew that these Republicans couldn't wait to blame President Joe Biden and the Democrats. They wanted to shout, oh, Biden's Department of Justice it ain't trying to find the truth. And I knew they wanted to say that, and say that it was a hit that was put out by President Joe Biden, which wasn't true at all, because Joe Biden nor the Democrats are doing that. And I wouldn't be surprised to go online to where people start their own conspiracies like, this is proof that Democrats are terrorists. Their leaders have been inciting violence against Republicans for more than a decade. It's funny sometimes and sometimes it ain't, but these folks would believe that shit. But thankfully, they found who the killer was. And the crazy thing about it was that I thought that maybe it could have been somebody from the far left that did that. But the guy that shot Trump was a registered Republican, which I thought was crazy, because I was thinking, why would a Republican shoot Trump? Then I began to wonder if it had something to do with Trump trying to distance himself from Project 2025. That could have been it. Because really, that was a catch-22 for Trump. Because if Trump was for Project 2025, that was going to help Biden with the presidential election. But if he distances himself from it, he'll get shot. And I know Republicans want to blame Democrats for this, but the Democrats are being sympathetic, such as President Joe Biden, who I can respect. Joe Biden said those nice things about Trump after Trump talked about him like a dog. But it's good that Biden is forgiving him and being a bigger man. He still condemned what happened to Trump, and that just shows his strength and integrity. He's an honorable guy, and as Democrats, we just want everything to be peaceful. And it makes me wonder, though, if Trump would have said the same thing had this happened to Biden. I don't think so, since Trump only cares about himself. He only cares about his reputation and image more than he does the country. But like I said, it's good that Biden's the bigger man in this. And it does seem like Trump is reaping some good out of this shooting by President Biden, taking down all the derogatory ads that he had of Trump, I heard. And I do think that this would infuriate his fan base and boost sympathy votes. And see, the crazy thing about it is that I saw this live on MSNBC while I was over at my parents' house. Me and my dad saw it. We were sitting around talking with the TV turned down low, and then we saw breaking news on the TV screen where we saw a group of Secret Service agents all on Trump, grabbing him, ducking him down, and they had to keep Trump down for a minute where he must have been hurt. And my dad was like, oh shit, let me turn this shit up. What the fuck going on? He grabbed the remote and turned up the TV. We was watching it. And at first we was wondering what happened. We didn't know if he got shot or somebody threw something at him. We didn't see nothing fly. And we were like, what happened? Did he get shot? Where did it come from? Because it was an open field right there. There was a field in the background, and there was a prop upstage with no building or no windows. So where did they shoot out from? Because it was so sudden and fast. And the thing is, you can't stop a bullet once it goes out of a chamber. The only thing you can do is react. It takes less than a second. But me and my dad kept wondering who did it. And I kind of figured it was a sniper, but, we all were like, we were like, they didn't arrest nobody. That's the problem. Since ain't nobody went, hey, that's him, pointing, hey, that's him right there. And I told my dad that the person who probably did it, or the person who did it probably ran off. And when they get caught, they're probably going to serve the rest of their life in prison. And my dad was like, yeah, but they ain't arrest nobody though. And even, when an hour had passed, I was thinking usually around that time they would have the shooter down or arrested. I mean, who could he run to? They were trying to figure out, what direction he came from and all that. And when Trump was shot, I felt the Secret Service agents weren't as quick as I thought they would be. It seemed like they weren't expecting this either, I'm guessing. And they kept showing the replays of it. And what bothered me was like, after he got shot, when the Secret Service agents were carrying Trump off stage, he faced the cameras, pumping his fists up in the air like, fight, fight, fight. And I'm thinking, how do you think his mega supporters are going to take that? That's going to be another January 6th incident waiting to happen. And that's why I fear this incident will infuriate his fan base, where they definitely going to vote for Trump even more. And I seen a Trump supporter in the crowd sticking the middle finger like F you, F whoever did this, F Democrats. And they all chanting, USA, USA. Because even though Trump's policies aren't good policies, that's going to hurt the working class, and there's going to be all that racism shit. But this incident is still going to help them. Like, oh, look what they're trying to do with Trump. Trump's a good man. But Trump's not a good man. But Mr. Crooks didn't have to try to assassinate him still. You just got to not vote for him and put him in jail. That's the way to do it. Because if they had never postponed his prison sentence and went ahead and put him in prison, on July 11th like they were supposed to, then none of this would have never happened. His supporters would have still reacted the same way, but at least Trump would have never been injured. But there's no need to assassinate a president. All we need to do is vote him out. That's all we need to do. Trying to assassinate a president just ain't worth it. We don't need to agree with violence or agree with somebody getting hurt just because we don't agree with their political views. This young man wanted to drive 40 miles, climb on top of a building, and kill a presidential candidate, all to be gunned down by Secret Service snipers. All that, just wasn't necessary. And this young man tried to take Trump's life, and his own life ended up getting taken. And Trump is still here and is doing well. And I just seen a video where Trump is arriving to some building at WWF Raw, and he just made an appearance at the Republican National Convention still, with the bandaged ear, pumping his fists up, and received all kinds of love and support. Which brings me to Ohio. J.D. Vance had just been chosen as Trump's running mate for the 2024 presidential election. He's not a good guy. He's a racist and a mega Republican. So it's either him and Donald Trump or Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But we shouldn't count on crazy Republican voters to make a difference in this country, because Trump was shot by a Republican with a gun. So don't blame the liberals. You just got to face the truth and see it for what it is. So remember to vote blue. But that's all I want to say, folks. This is Big Brother 749 signing out. I'm out. Peace.